morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Mucking Fun Day, that's right. What news has been going on over the weekend? No clue. Because I don't look at the news until this show starts running. So let's go ahead and look at our news headlines and see what we're covering. Today on Before Coffee. North Macedonia's new president reignites a spat with Greece at her inauguration ceremony.
And we have wildfires in Canada and tornadoes all over the place.
Catalan separatists lose majority as Spain's socialists win regional elections.
In sad news, the first person to receive a genetically modified pig kidney has died.
Unanimous victory seems certain. The biggest mistakes from the 2024 TV Baftas.
All those fun stories on Mucking Fun Day, which is also National Crouton Day. May 13th, 2024, Before Coffee.
I hope you like frog jumping and croutons. Together? I don't know. I've never had frog legs myself, but I don't know what this has to do with my first story, but here you go. First story, this is coming out of, AP News by Konstantin Testrodis out of North Macedonia. Gordana Cizanvoska Davkova was sworn as the first female president of North Macedonia on Sunday, which was May 12th? Yes, May 12th, and immediately reignited a diplomatic spat with neighboring Greece. At the ceremony, the country's parliament, Cizanvoska Davkova, referred to her country as Macedonia. She didn't put what direction it was on the compass, rather than the constitutional name, North Macedonia. That's like saying the U.S. or America instead of the United States of America. How dare you! You insult everyone! The prompted Greek ambassador Sofia Philippidou to leave the inauguration ceremony. She just walked out. How dare she? The Greek Foreign Ministry later issued a statement saying that the new president's actions violated an agreement between the two nations and put in danger both bilateral relations and North Macedonia's prospects of joining the European Union. Imagine being that petty. Oh, you want to join the European Union? Well, you can't have the name Macedonia because the Greek people will feel insulted because they're Macedonians. Why can't we all be Macedonians? Borders aren't real, guys. They're not real. Where you draw your lines on the map doesn't mean shit. People can walk north and south wherever they want, and you can't stop them. You can't really prove Macedonians didn't live in Macedonia, or they did live in Greece and wherever. Some of them lived in Egypt. But I guess this is the problem with nationalism. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen implicitly rebuked Cizanvoska's and Davkova's choice of words. For North Macedonia to continue its successful path on EU ascension, it is paramount that the country continues on the path of reforms and full respect for its binding agreements, including the Prespa Agreement, she posted on Twitter, referring to a 2018 agreement between North Macedonia and Greece. I believe some people like to call it the country formerly known as Macedonia as well. I just don't understand this. They should have never signed this agreement. Why did they sign the agreement? They just got bullied by Greece to you can't call your country that. That's not allowed. You know, I think if somebody wants to call their country poopy face, they should be allowed to. A few hours later, von der Leyen posted her congratulations to the new president. Congratulations, Gordana Cizanvoska Davkova, on becoming the first female president of North Macedonia. Your leadership comes at a crucial time as your country advances its reforms and continues on its path towards the EU. I'm looking forward to working with you. The use of the name Macedonia provokes a strong Greek reaction. Well, it sounds like they need to get over themselves. With Greece accusing its northern neighbors of approaching a Greek name and the history of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedonia, which existed centuries before Slavic peoples such as the contemporary ethnic Macedonians arrived in the area. The decades-old dispute resolved in 2018. I don't think it was resolved at all. It was compromised, when both sides signed an agreement and the constitutional name North Macedonia was adopted. Greece then lifted its objections to North Macedonia joining NATO and applied to EU membership. Fucking just bullying. That's just bullying. That has nothing to do with anything, right? We can bully these people, so we're gonna take the chance to do it. Anyways, I mean, it's like me getting angry that, you know, New Mexico is called New Mexico or something, you know? It's not New Mexico. It was originally always part of Mexico. And so was Texas. They should be called Mexico. I don't know. Agreement.
They should be called Colorado.
You're going into historical foundation as why you're being insulted. That's why it annoys me, right?
Yeah, people looking for reasons to hate.
Yeah. I'm pissed. Why? Because of this one small thing that doesn't matter. Then calling themselves Macedonians doesn't mean anything, because if Greece people really cared about being called Macedonians, they would just call themselves Macedonians. And they would change their country to Macedonia. If they cared so much, that's what I say.
Alexander the Great was from Macedonia. I wonder how he feels about this.
That's probably why they want to hold on to it, right? Oh, if you say you're from Macedonia, you can claim him. Ooh, yeah. Because people care about being able to claim people, right? That actor is from my country. So, we need to be claiming him as soon as possible so that we can be prideful. Nationalism. Sijanovoska Dufkova is the 6th president since the Balkan country gained independence from Yugoslavia in 1991. She was sworn in before the outgoing parliament. I could not have imagined that I would receive this kind of trust from over 560,000 citizens, I don't think. I still can't believe it. I will be the president of all citizens. I will try to justify these thousands of votes, which are not only the most beautiful gift to my birthday, but also the biggest obligation I have had in my life. It's time for unity, Sijanovoska Dufkova said, referring to the fact that she was officially informed on the results on Saturday, her 71st birthday. Saturday, May 11th. Most of her address was focused on women and their role in society, promising to feminize and Europeanize the country. With the help of us women, you male politicians will also change and Macedonia will become a decent place to live. Sijanovoska, she just freaking called out like, this place sucks because you're in charge. Dufkova said. After taking the oath in parliament, a handoff ceremony took place in front of the president's official residence. Sijanovoska Dufkova, a lawmaker in the outgoing parliament and a university professor and lawyer, was the candidate of the center-right coalition led by VMRO, VPME, and defeated incumbent president Stevo Pendarovsky with 69% of the vote in the last one day's runoff. That's pretty high percent. Turnout was 47.47%, above the 40% threshold required to make the elections valid and avoid a repeat vote. Okay, that's not so good. Nobody showed up. We almost had to toss all the votes out into the trash. Sijanovoska Dufkova and Pendarovsky are also squared off in 2019. Boy, I love saying these names because I can't speak. Dimitris Nelas contributed to this report from Athens, Greece. He probably said, yeah, people were yelling in the streets. How dare they use the M word? They need to use the NM only. North needs to be in there or else it's over. No shorthand allowed. They should just call themselves Donia or something. Yeah, we're from Donia. Macedonia. Not Macedonia. Macedonia. You've never heard of it. Totally different country. Anyways, I just thought this was a funny kind of lighthearted thing. It's not very serious, but it is funny to see Greece get angry about things that aren't important, like being called Turkish or being called Macedonian. Like, why don't you focus on real problems instead of being angry that people used the wrong words or compared you to someone else or said, hey, you might have a relationship with this other country. How dare you? Greece has always been Greece till the end of time. They've never been part of the Ottoman Empire. That has been erased from the history books. Anyways.
It was never divided up into Athens and, Sparta. That was never a thing.
Those were city-states, right? They weren't even called Greece.
Does anybody ever claim to be a Spartan these days?
Yeah, I know, right? No.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
There's not people out there throwing babies off cliffs. That's what they would do.
Okay.
Throw weak babies off cliffs if they weren't strong enough to be warriors.
The legend of Sparta.
Yeah.
Is it my story?
Yep. You're free to go.
Okay. And your eyes have the mist of a smoke of a distant fire. That's an old song from the 70s. It applies from Minnesota. As last year we had Canadian wildfires. This year we got Canadian wildfires going again. Oh yeah. It's going to be a busy old summer in Canada as this hot planet just refuses to cool off on its own. I wonder if we can do anything about it. Maybe not. Maybe it's too late. This is from ABC News. With over 100 active wildfires burning in Canada, wildfire smoke has drifted across the border in the United States, prompting Minnesota officials to issue the state's first air quality alert of 24 on Sunday. Several of the string of Canadian wildfires have been labeled out of control, according to the officials, who placed 40 out of the 140 active fires in this category. Most of the active wildfires, 91 to be exact, are in British Columbia and Alberta provinces. And tundra does burn, and it burns for a while. So there's a lot of stored up carbon in tundra, especially when it's what do you want to call it? Defrosting at a high rate and releasing methane. In the U.S., wildfire smoke has reached states from Montana to Wisconsin, but is especially heavy in Minnesota on Sunday. Minnesota's air quality alert was issued Sunday and will remain in place through Monday. The Air Quality Index, AQI, for much of northern Minnesota has been between 150 and 200 today, which is unhealthy, and at times has gone above the 200 AQI mark into the very unhealthy zone. Bemidji, a city in northern Minnesota, I know somebody from Bemidji, recorded a 212 AQI on Sunday, where residents could smell smoke in the air at those levels and placed the town amongst the worst air quality locations in the world. Overnight, Minneapolis, Minnesota will have the medium-heavy smoke levels reaching the surface, with officials warning residents, especially those with allergies, to make sure their windows are closed Sunday night to Monday morning. By sunrise Monday, the wildfire smoke in the U.S. likely will be much weaker, with medium levels reaching from Wisconsin to southern Minnesota. By Monday evening, Omaha, Nebraska is projected to experience some hazier skies due to the flow of wildfire smoke. The effects of wildfire smoke are an increasing worry across the United States, as only expected to worsen, according to a study released in February. By mid-century, the effects of wildfire smoke could bring startling health risks to 125 million Americans, according to the First Street Foundation. In June 23, smoke from the Canadian wildfires blanketed parts of Northeast and Midwest in a thick orange haze. Famously, New York State was totally engulfed in flames. New York City is totally engulfed in flames. Not flames, and smoke. Flames would be something. That's coming later on.
Yeah.
When, global warming takes full effect and we're all just living on one island in the middle of frickin', the Azores or somewhere up north. 18 states from Montana, New York, and as far as south of Georgia under air quality alerts, according to the Air Now at the time. New York City topped the list of the world's worst air quality rankings by a landslide, according to the IQ Air. Wildfire smoke poses a startling health risk to everyone, but especially individuals with existing health conditions, like, associated with stroke, heart disease, respiratory disease, lung cancer, and early death. Early death's one of the worst diseases you can get. Death's in the name. In other northern news, if you didn't have smoke in your sky, maybe you saw the northern lights this weekend. As far south as Georgia. That's right. Georgia, not the one in the former Soviet Union, the Georgia, United States. The Georgia and Asia probably sees them. I don't know how often they see. How far north are they? I don't know. But Georgia, United States never sees the northern lights, or Aurora Borealis. Northern Lights, this is from Axios, Thomas Wheatley, two-minute read. Northern Lights lit up Georgia skies from mountains to the coast on Friday as the strongest solar storm in 20 years reached the Earth. Extreme G5 geomagnetic conditions were observed reaching the Earth for the first time since 2003, creating a spectacular views of the evening skies around the world. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center, on Saturday said there were some reports of power grid irregularities and degradation of high-frequency communications and GPS. According to some reports, at higher latitude, the better the views. But that was our big old aurora in the sky. If you went on at night, you would have seen bright colors in the sky looking north if you had clear sky. I grew up in Wisconsin, so we saw the northern lights all summer. So if it was a clear night, you could just look north and say, hey, look. We didn't know what the hell they were, but now that I'm an adult, I know what they are. It's magnetic, it's radio frequencies bouncing off our magnetic field, being reflected off the polar ice caps. And there you go. There's your Aurora Borealis news.
Yeah, I saw some really cool pictures of that from a friend who lives in Michigan. I was thinking while you're reading the story about the wildfires, nobody really ever talks about Nebraska. When you think about it, no one ever talks about Nebraska. Isn't that weird?
I think we did a story on Nebraska having that huge girls volleyball game last year. That's about it. Well, they had a tornado too. Everybody's having tornadoes.
I just think they're kind of like New Mexico. They go kind of under the radar for any big national news. They're not like Texas or Florida or something, where they're always causing.
Yeah, you got to have a big city. The biggest city is Omaha, and they basically share it with Iowa. So it's right on the border. It's on the Missouri River. So yeah, Omaha had a tornado the other day. As a matter of fact, like last week. Yep.
Well, I guess stay safe out there in the Midwest. Close your windows if you have
asthma,
because I know I've inhaled some smoke before and that was awful. So keep your eyes on the sky and on the horizon. Out of some weather news, let's go into some more some more European drama here. If anybody knows anything about Spain, you probably know about the Catalan separatists. These are the people, I think it's South Spain. Might be North Spain. Where's Catalan? Where's Catalan? Okay, it's north east Spain. Okay, ish. That's where people want to be their own country. Okay, they want to leave Spain, be their own country. This is similar to what's happening in Scotland, right? You've got the SNP, or people who want to leave the UK. And the Catalan separatists had a majority in Spain's regional elections, and now they've lost it to the Socialists. This is coming out of the Associated Press on NPR. Well, I guess it's on NPR with Associated Press as the provider of the information. 6 years after plunging Spain into its worst political crisis in decades, Catalonia's separatist parties are in danger of losing their hold on power in the northeastern region after the pro-union Socialist Party scored a historic result in Sunday's election. So, not only did Macedonia have an election, North Macedonia have an election, but also Spain had an election on the 12th. The four pro-independence parties, led by Together Party of former regional president Carles Puigdemont, I don't know, it looks like a French name, but they're probably Spanish, were set to get a total of 61 seats. I have no idea how to pronounce that in Spanish. It's a very weird name. They were set to get a total of 61 seats, and according to a near complete count of the ballots, that is short of the key figure of 68 seats they need for a majority in the chamber. The Socialists, led by former health minister Salvador Illa, favored their best result in a Catalan election, claiming 42 seats, up from the 33 in 2021, when they also barely won the most votes but were unable to form a government. This was the first time the Socialists led a Catalan election in both votes and seats won. Catalonia has declared to open a new era, Illa told his thrilled supporters at his party headquarters. Catalan voters have decided that the Socialist Party will lead this new era, and it is my intention to become Catalonia's next president. Illa led Spain's response to COVID-19 pandemic before Sanchez sent him back to Barcelona to lead his party. The 58-year-old Illa calm tone, focus on social issues, convinced many voters that it was time to change after years of separatist pressings for severing century-old ties with the rest of Spain. Sanchez congratulated Illa on Twitter for the historic result. The Socialists would need to earn the backing of other parties to put Illa in charge. Deal-making in the coming days, maybe weeks, will be key to forming a government. Neither a hung parliament nor new elections out of the question. But there is a path for Illa to reach the goal of 68 seats. The Socialists are already in coalition government in Madrid with the Sumar party, which now has 6 seats in the Catalan parliament. But the hard part will be wooing over a leftist party from a separatist camp. Regardless of those negotiations, Illa's surge should bode well for Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and the Socialists before European Parliament elections next month. Get ready for those European Parliament elections. Separatists have held the regional government in Barcelona since 2012 and have won majorities in 4 consecutive regional elections. But polling a national election in July showed that support for secession has shrunk since Puigdemont had led an illegal and futile breakaway bid in 2017 that led to hundreds of businesses and Catalonia's major banks leaving the region. Whoops! The candidacy that I led had a good result. We're the only pro-independence force to increase in votes and seats, and we assume the responsibility that entails, Puigdemont said, but that is not enough to compensate the losses of other separatist parties. There's a picture of a voter holding his puppy as he goes for a vote. I don't know why, but that's there. Okay. Sanchez's Socialists have Sanchez's Socialists have spent major political capital since then in reducing attention in Catalonia, including pardoning jailed high-profile separatists, and pushing through an amnesty for Puigdemont and hundreds and more. The Socialist win is due to many factors that we will have to analyze. One of those factors were the policies and leadership of the government of Spain and Pedro Sanchez, Illa said. The Together party of Puigdemont restored its leadership of the separatist camp with 35 seats, up from the 32 3 years ago. He fled Spain after the 2017 secession attempt and has run his campaign from southern France on the pledge that he will return home when lawmakers convene to elect a new regional president in the coming weeks. Puigdemont's escape from Spain became the stuff of legend among his followers and a huge source of embarrassment for Spain's law enforcement. He recently denied during the campaign that he had hidden himself away in a car trunk to avoid detection while he slipped across the border during a legal crackdown that led several of his cohorts in prison until Sanchez's government pardoned them. Now, the only way Puigdemont could keep the separatists in government would depend on the far-fetched possibility of a deal with Sanchez to guarantee the separatist support of his national government in Madrid in exchange for Illa returning the favor to the separatists in Barcelona. The Republican left of Catalonia, of sitting regional president Pere Aragonés, plummeted to 20 seats from 30, but the leftist separatist party, which has governed its minority during a record drought, could be key to Illa's hopes, although that would require it to break with the pro-secession bloc. Which, yeah, so they really want to secede, huh? The Popular Party, which is the largest party in Spain's national parliament, where it leads the opposition, surged to 15 seats from 3. Wow, that's a huge lead. Wow, they weren't kidding. The far-right Spanish ultra-nationalist party Vox held its 11 seats. Hey, that's good news. They didn't gain any seats. So, while on the other end of the spectrum, the far-left pro-secession CUP took 4, down from 9. No, not CUP! An upstart pro-secession far-right party called Catalan Alliance, which rails against unauthorized immigration as well as the Spanish state, will enter the chamber for the first time with 2 seats. We have seen that Catalonia is not immune to reactionary far-right waves sweeping Europe, Aragonés, the outgoing regional president, said. The crippling drought, no independence, it's currently the leading concern of Catalans, according to the most recent survey by Catalonia's Public Opinion Office. The Opinion Office said that 50% of Catalans are against independence, while 42% are for it, meaning support for it has dropped or dipped since the 2012 levels. When Puigdemont left in 2017, 49% favored independence and 43% were against. More than 3.1 million people voted, with participation at 57%. Potentially thousands of voters had trouble reaching the polling station when Catalonia's commuter rail service had to shut down several train lines after what officials said was the robbery of copper cables from a train installation near Barcelona. I'm sure that's completely unrelated, and they just have a big copper stealing problem. That is actually a big problem. I don't know if you've heard of this. There's people stealing copper cables.
That's been a problem forever.
Yeah, that's been a problem forever. Copper
that first
can
thing
be
that
sold
happened
for all time. It's a great conductive metal.
That first thing that happened at Pinatubo in the Philippines, like we used to have a military base there, a couple of them, but Clark Air Force Base. Oh yeah, all the civilians just went in after we abandoned that base. They went in and stripped all the copper housing, wiring, all the
Free
houses,
money.
all the base housing. Yeah, free money.
But that's my story.
The price of copper went way down. Yeah.
The very long story, but about the results of the regional elections for Spain and how I guess they're not going to end up leaving Spain anytime soon. Similar to Scotland, who seems to also get stuck at that action part. They get the votes, but then the action of doing it doesn't work out. Sadly.
Okay. I guess we'll talk about the weather again, because we haven't finished talking about Mother Nature and all the stuff's going on here. This is a tornado, not a fire this time. Of course, fires a lot of times are man-made. Tornadoes definitely not man-made. This is from Pennsylvania, the Post-Gazette of Finleyville, Washington, I guess, somewhere in Pennsylvania, Post-Gazette. As the pastors, after a powerful tornado in Washington County, debris, repairs, and gratitude that it wasn't worse. This is from John Hayes. As the pastor's wife sang the God Who Stays with the congregants who had gathered Saturday night at a Crossroads Ministry Church, a tornado slammed into the house of worship, blew out its windows, ripped part of the roof off the building, and sent it hurtling into the nearby woods. When the roaring wind and pounding hail finally passed the church on Walter Long Road in Findlay, Washington, the 100 or so people huddled in the church basement checked one another and realized no one had been seriously hurt. Last night, I witnessed what I would say is a miracle. Yeah, God put you all in that church so you get slammed by a tornado. That was his plan. Okay. It was a miracle. Okay. The church's pastor, Reverend Ken Barnard, told his congregation on Sunday. I'm just going to point out, if nobody was in that church, nobody would get hurt either, right? Anyway, the storm snapped the steeple off the building and damaged cars in the parking lot, but nobody was injured more severely than a few cuts and bruises. There you go. Okay, a few cuts and bruises they wouldn't have had if they would have stayed home. There you go. They got cuts and bruises for going to church. The church did not save them, okay? Let's just calm down here. The church would have got hit if it was empty. Throughout the day, residents and emergency workers took stock of the damage done by the tornado and swept through the area around Finleyville shortly after 6 p.m. on Saturday. Workers strapped the tarps to damaged routes along the approximately 6-mile track of the tornado took. The National Weather Service sent survey crews into the area Sunday morning, and the preliminary report suggested the tornado could have been as strong as EF2. Where the wind gusts reached speeds between 111 and 135 miles per hour along most of the tornado's path, it was likely less powerful, though still dangerous, EF1, said Colton Millicaric, a National Weather Service meteorologist. Luke McLean, associate pastor at Crossroads Ministry, that's a caption, sorry. Boop, skip that. Despite the storm's power, Washington County Emergency Services reported no one transported to hospitals because of the tornado. The Weather Service wasn't aware of any major fatalities major injuries or fatalities linked to the storm either. The funnel cloud touched down near Oak Ridge Drive in Peters, damaging several homes. Hail the size of golf balls pelted the region as far as south and east as New Stanton and Mount Pleasant, the National Weather Service said. Crossroads Ministries canceled in-person services on Sunday because of the damage, but Rev Barner delivered often emotional address to his flock via live stream, recounting the parable of Jesus calming the storm. That's a story that ends with Jesus asking the disciples after the tempest, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" In the aftermath of the tornado, the church received an outpouring of love and concern, he said. In the days ahead, church leaders will sort out what the congregation will meet and the church is repaired. Recounting the moment when we returned after surviving the tornado's direct hit, Reverend Barner choked up. "Hug the people that you love," he said. "I got home last night and just hugged my wife." And there's your good news tornado story, and not so good news in genetically modified transplant story. This is from NPR.org. Emma Bowman, the first person to receive a genetically modified pig kidney transplant, has died, unfortunately. Richard Rick Slayman, the first human to receive a genetically modified pig transplant, has died almost 2 months after the procedure. Slayman, who had end-stage kidney disease, underwent the transplant in March at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston at age 62. The hospital said in a statement on Saturday there was no indication that his death was the result of the transplant. The transplant surgeon had said he had hoped the transplant would function for at least 2 years. The Mass General Transplant team is deeply saddened at the sudden passing of Mr. Rick Slayman, read this hospital statement. Mr. Slayman will forever be seen as a beacon of hope to countless transplant patients worldwide, and we're deeply grateful for his trust and willingness to advance the field of xenotransplantation. The surgery was a milestone in the field for xenotransplantation, which is a new word for me. The transplant of organs from one species to another, as a way to alleviate the organ shortage for people who need transplants. The effort to genetically modify human organs, or modify animal organs, in hopes that the human body will not reject the foreign tissue. In a statement shared by the hospital, Slayman's family thanked his doctors. Their enormous efforts leading the xenotransplant gave our family 7 more weeks of the Rick, and our memories made during that time will remain in our minds and hearts. The family said he was kind, quick-witted, and fiercely dedicated to his family, friends, and co-workers. After the transplant, Rick said that one of the reasons he underwent the procedure was to provide hope for the thousands of people who need transplant to survive. It continued, Rick accomplished that goal, and his hope and optimism will endure forever. Last month, a 54-year-old New Jersey woman became the second person ever to receive a genetically modified pig kidney transplant. More than 100,000 people in the U.S. are on the wait list for organs. Thousands die every year before they can get one. So, we're just grabbing spare parts from pigs. I'm telling you, we can clone people. I don't know, we just don't get busy doing it. Ethically, we're challenged, I guess. We're humans. Dude,
yeah.
What do we act like we got some limitations? We can clone. Let's clone new organs for these people. You killed a pig, you had no problem killing a pig for it, right?
Yeah.
You know? Well, how is that ethically good? You know?
Well,
I'm sorry.
That's a problem with thinking we're better than everybody, right? Humanity is supreme over all other animals, so. Well,
we're obviously better than clones, aren't we? Are we better than clones? I think we are. I know I'm going to be better than my clone. He's just going to be genetically the same as me, and that's it. Right? He could be like, I'm stupid. I haven't learned how to play basketball or nothing. You know, it's just some guy, right? He could be me. But I can use his organs. So just keep him in a vault. Just a dumb... Don't even have to have a brain. It can just be...
Because it's not an easy thing. It's not a cut and dry thing like you're making it sound.
So why is it cut and dry to kill a pig? Okay, I've got this organism living in a room. It doesn't have a brain, but it's got all the other organisms, right? And it's me, basically. And I can get it for spare parts. Why can't I make something like that? It can be done. I mean, I'm sorry. Killing pigs just seems like butchery more than anything. Oh, let's go down to the butcher shop and see if we can get some extra parts for this guy, you know? I don't know.
I wonder if they would be more successful which I know is also a bad idea. If they started using
Is it?
something from the ape family, perhaps, since pigs and humans are not similar at all. I know we have similar organs, but I feel like it would be easier to make a gorilla farm or something if you wanted to do that.
Gorillas are huge, though. Gorillas are friggin' huge.
Yeah, maybe they have huge kidneys, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, pig hearts have been used before in humans.
Yeah, maybe that's why they tried the kidney,
cloning,
just 'cause the pig heart worked.
Wars are wrong. We do wars, and we do wars all over. We never stop doing that. Well, cloning, that's terrible. Give me a break. We're morally superior until it comes to war, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. You got that right. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any news about new ethical dilemmas. Instead, for my culture segment, we're just gonna read Stuart Heritage's opinions on the 2024 TV Baftas and what he thought. What seemed like a unanimous victory that did not happen for him. He's very disappointed. Some of the most blistering television ever made went home empty-handed, and a French show about a flamboyant businessman singer beat them all. A while ago, it might have felt like the Baftas didn't really need to put on a big awards ceremony this year. This isn't because shows like this are becoming less and less relevant with every passing year, but because of Happy Valley. Every single thing about the third series of Happy Valley was blisteringly impressive. The writing was note perfect, able to puncture moments of colossal tension with a warm turn of phrase. The performances, too, were about as good as you can get across the board. Even the idea of the series, patiently waiting for 7 years before returning so that Reese Kona could naturally age into the role of Sally Wainwright wanted to tell, was extraordinary. Happy Valley felt so far ahead of the pack that the unanimous victory seemed certain. They could have just mailed a crate of trophies to Sarah Lancashire's house and saved money on the ceremony. But that isn't what came to pass. Yes, Sarah won an award for leading actress, and yes, the final showdown between Catherine K. Wood and Tommy Lee Royce won the P&O Cruises Memorable Moment Award, beating off the mighty challenger that was David Beckham sticking his head through a door like in all those memes on Instagram. But that was it. Siobhan Finneran didn't win supporting actress. Amit Shah didn't win supporting actor. James Norton wasn't even nominated, which surely had to be an administrative error. And Best Drama went to Top Boy, a show arguably best known for not being quite as good as Happy Valley. Actually, that's unfair. By the end of its run, the Top Boy had blossomed into something sprawling and epic, and the fact that it has been able to hold its ground against bigger and splashier shows is proof of quality enough. Plus, Jasmine Johnson, who won supporting actress last night over big names like Elizabeth Debicki and Leslie Manville, had clearly got a long and bright future ahead of her. I'm being sour. He's just being sour. It'll pass. Of course, there is a very good reason why Jasmine Jobson beat Elizabeth Debicki and Leslie Manville. This is because Elizabeth Debicki and Leslie Manville were in The Crown, which transformed into an absolute mess by its final series, an incoherent muddle from the start to finish, thanks to its strange insistence on not seeing Queen Elizabeth's reign out to the end. Plus, its cavalier attitude towards Ghost. The Crown went home empty-handed last night. That certainly wasn't a surprise. What was a surprise, however, was Class Act winning the International Award, a 7-episode French drama from Netflix about the life of Bernard Tapie, a flamboyantly ambitious businessman/singer. Class Act was fine. However, without exaggeration, it was nominated against some of the best television programs that had ever been made. It was up against The Last of Us, a show that proved emotional heft could be wrung out from a video game. It was up against Beef, the brilliantly propulsive revenge show. It was up against The Bear, which is The Bear for crying out loud. It was up against the final season of Succession, a run of episodes that felt like they literally stopped the world turning for a couple of months last year. And yet, Class Act triumphed over all of them. This is both good and bad thing. Good because people are undoubtedly going to head to Netflix this week to see what all the fuss is about. Bad because when they finish, they're going to realize it isn't a patch on The Bear, Beef, or Succession, and they'll trust BAFTA less next year as a result. There were a scattering of other surprises last night. Squid Game, The Challenge, won the reality category against ITV's generally lovely dating show, My Mom, Your Dad. Strictly beat Michael McIntyre's Big Show for Entertainment program, despite being old and tired. Scam Interceptors won the daytime slot, even though it feels like the last 20 years of daytime television have been filled with the brim with identical shows with identical premises. Mainly though, this was the year that Happy Valley only got a fraction of what it deserved. Still, at least Tommy Lee Royce died winning the P&O Cruises Memorable Moment Award. That's something, right? That was sarcasm, everyone. From Stuart Heritage. That's his opinion on the Baftas TV. I don't know. Tell us down below in the comments if you agree with his standings on British television. Also, check out those shows because, you know, I get it. America has the largest entertainment industry, but that doesn't mean they have the best stuff out there. So don't cheat yourself out and watch some shows from other countries, especially the UK where they're already in English, so you don't have to translate or anything. You might find something good and relatable in there, even if it's from a different country. I've always been watching British shows, so I'm just biased, I guess, for that.
I started watching an old Canadian show.
Yeah.
I started watching an old Canadian show from like 20 years ago called Corner Gas.
Yeah.
8 seasons or something. It's just, you know, Canadian humor.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can say about that. Low budget Canadian humor. Actors you never heard of. They have even cameos by politicians.
Degrassi, which is a Canadian show about high school. Wasn't relatable at all, but
this one has cameos by politicians I never heard of too, which is more of a bonus, right? They had a cameo by Colin Mockery. I know that is a famous Canadian improv guy. Yeah. But everybody else is like people I've never heard of. Anyway, because it's Canada and it's on the other side of the world. It's way far away.
Yeah, I guess so. They're totally different up there.
Okay, this day in history. On this day in 1637, according to tradition, Francis Cardinal Richelieu invented the table knife. Before that, we were cutting our butter with our fingers, I guess. He reportedly had the tips rounded to stop dinner companions from using knives to pick their teeth. That's pretty fun. 1871, with the law of in 1871 in this day, with the law of guarantees, the Italian government attempted to settle the question of its relationship with the Pope, who had been deprived of his land in the process of Italian national unification. Okay, so I guess the Pope got the Vatican City in exchange for those negotiations. In 1917, 3 children, Lucia de Santos and her cousins, Francisco and Jacinta Marto, reported seeing the Virgin Mary near Fatima, Portugal. Oh yeah, the Virgin Mary. Some little girls are going to know exactly what she looked like, right? Could have been just any old woman, any woman. It had to be the Virgin Mary. All right, that apparition had to be the Virgin Mary. Could have been another woman. Right. Okay. Nice history. Okay. Three girls made up a story in 1917. Okay, 1940, British politician Winston Churchill faced the House of Commons for the first time as Prime Minister and told the members that have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. And they're like, no, we want cash. No, just kidding. They didn't say that. We'll take your blood, toil, tears, and sweat. Oh, Winnie. In 1941, on this day, Richie Valens, who's the first Latino rock and roll star, was born in Pacoima, California. Richie Valens, who famously died in a plane crash in 1959, and he only got to be 18. 1950, American musician Stevie Wonder, a child prodigy, developed in one of the most creative musical figures of the late 20th century. He was born in Saginaw, Michigan. So happy 74 to Stevie Wonder. Not his real name. I can't tell you his real name. We'll do another real names of celebrities thing. I'll tell you his real name. It might be easy to guess, though. 1960 on this day, a Swiss expedition led by Max Iselin reached the summit of Darulgiri in the Himalayas. 1964 is the birthday of... And this day is the birthday of Stephen Colbert, host of the Colbert Report, and now the host of the Late Show, Stephen Colbert. So happy 60th birthday to Stephen Colbert. 1981, Pope John Paul II survived an assassination attempt at St. Peter's Square, Vatican City, in which he was shot and seriously wounded by Mehmet Ali Agca, a Turkish national with a problem. 2019, American singer and actress Doris Day passed away. Her performances in movie musicals in the 1950s and 60s comedies of the early 1960s made her a leading Hollywood star. She died at the age of 93. Also a very big advocate for dogs and animals generally. Our featured event this day, U.S. Declaration of War on Mexico approved. Tensions between Mexico and the United States, stemming from the U.S. annexation of Texas, led the U.S. Congress on this day in 1846 to approve overwhelmingly a declaration of war against Mexico. And about 6 weeks later, they marched into Montezuma, marched into Mexico City, and basically the United States got, what did the United States get from that? They got New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Utah, California, all of that became part of the United States. Because Mexico couldn't get their shit together and defend their own country, basically. So we just marched in there, It's like, that's what we do. We take the land. Feature biography, Georges Braque, French artist, was born on this day. On May 13th, 1882, in Argenteuil, France. Died August 31st, 1963, at the age of 81 in Paris, France. Other birthdays. Harvey Keitel, American actor, born in 1939, turning 85 today. Happy birthday, Harvey Keitel. Dennis Rodman, American basketball player, born in 1961. We already covered Stephen Colbert. Lena Dunham, American actress, writer, director, and producer, born in 1986. So she's turning 38. Just a quick math in my head. Today, which is National Fruit Cocktail Day. That's right. Fruit cocktail. Little tiny bit of cherry, little pieces of grape, little chunks of pears and peaches, maybe a pineapple. National Frog Jumping Day. And National Apple Pie Day. Apple Pie Day is the same as Fruit Cocktail Day. That's too many fruits for one day, I think. It's National Women's Checkup Day, which is the second Monday in May. And it's National Crouton Day. So I don't know if you can mix croutons and apple pie, but it doesn't seem croutons. It sounds kind of awful. Maybe put some in your fruit cocktail. That'd be a new twist on the old fruit cocktail. A couple of croutons. There you go. They're the same size as those little chunks.
Yeah, they are.
That's your stories for today on May 13th, 2024, before Fruit Cocktail.
This has been Allison here. Don't mix your croutons and your frog legs up. Or go out there and jump over some ponds. Have you been active today? Time to go stretch those legs, literally over a ditch. Now, thanks everyone for stopping by.
Leave them froggies alone. Leave the froggies alone. It's National Frog Jumping Day.
Before Coffee, we'll be back tomorrow for Tuesday's Good Tues News Day. All the good news you ever want to hear to make it feel like it's worth being on the planet.
Whee!
And we'll see you then. Take care out there. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below if you agree with Stuart Heritage's opinions on British television. We'll see you next time. Oh, you didn't give me a mic. Did you give me a mic drop moment? And you didn't tell me.
I did. Sorry. Yes, I sure did. I'm sorry. Well, no, I can stall for a minute while you cue it up. It's only a minute. You don't even have to edit it. What?
Check. No, I can put it in.
You can still do it
quickly. Don't worry about it.
I can do more trivia while we're doing this.
No, it's fine. It's already.
Did you know
I'm already
that
slotting it in.
National Frog Jumping Day was founded by
Here we go.
Mark Twain? I don't know.
Mark Twain.
It was.
Really?
The Calaveras County. That was his first famous story before he was Mark Twain even. He wrote it in a newspaper.
Jumping Day.
Frog jumping contest. Yeah.
Okay, I've got it now. So thank you everyone for watching. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow for Good Tuesday News Day. And here is your mic drop moment.
You know, some of the greatest artists of our time are in a big argument right now. I want to know what message I know you're a peaceful guy, and you know, a lot of people are saying this is maybe bad for the culture. Just, you know, it's like just negative.
Any kind of war is bad for the world. Any kind of war.
I mean, and you know, Drake is talented, and Kendrick is like, you know, he's a cultural icon, you know. So it's kind of hard to see these guys. Does it give you any bad feelings seeing these two guys, you know, in this position?
I have no bad feelings. I just think that the world needs to focus on what's going on, because those things are just distractions.
Oh wow! You think it takes people's eyes off of you know, what really matters then? Say again?
Do you know the wars that are going on right now?
That's right. Real wars, not stuff.
The homelessness that's going on right now?
That's right, sir. That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
TMC, can't you see it?
Hey, we love you, man. We love you, and that's true. I think we need to get back focused on what's going on that really matters. Any message to the two?
God bless you.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.